Hi and welcome to the channel. My name is Drew. This is JustAGuyLinux and this is Fluxbox. Now, we've already done Fluxbox, but I really like it. It was the third video we did in this series on Debian window managers. Things that are in the Debian packages, easy to install, and primarily we've done floating or stacking window managers, and we're going to do one again today. But when rat poison was, I didn't even know rat poison wasn't a stacking window manager until I had already committed doing the video. So it kind of means that everything is on the table at this point. Regardless, what we're going to work on today is IceWM. Let's go over to Workspace 1. And what I'm looking at here is a comparison of X window managers on Wikipedia. And I did hit the sort button because I wanted to see configurable title bars and to see which ones said yes. Now we've done quite a few of these already. I don't want to say quite a few, but we've done JWM and Fluxbox and OpenBox, and we may, and XFWM for that matter. And we may end up doing some more of these. However, when I look at IceWM, I still, in my head, think it's pretty popular. And by looking at this graph, it looks like it has a lot of features. Okay, let's click on IceWM and go to that Wikipedia page. And it says it is installed as the default window manager for Absolute Linux and Antix. It is the default desktop on this particular piece of hardware, ASUS EEE PC, and OpenSUSE's for Raspberry Pi uses IceWM by default as a lightweight GUI. Okay, all that sounds pretty good to me. I'm just going to take a quick look just to verify that that's still accurate. Antix has 4 window managers and IceWM is default. Fluxbox JWM and Herbsluft WM. This has always intrigued me. We might go to that at some point because I know that this is also in the Debian packages. So let's go to a terminal. And I think we'll simply say install IceWM. I want to look at the suggested packages here just to see if there's something we definitely want to include. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm just going to go with what we got. All right. Now this is a little bit more, I mean, a little bit, right? When I say a little bit, you know, it's installing 11 megabytes of stuff on the hard drive, which is more than some of the other ones that we've done. However, I think that we'll be looking at quite a few features that we may not have seen in other things. So let's go ahead and exit. All right. Now let's see if it came up. Oh, yep, right there. And let's go into okay. Now I got to say this makes me laugh a bit because so I know what this, I mean, this is all royalty-free tux, and it's really funny to me. And I love the fact this is very similar to our guy, the Linux Tube on YouTube. Actually, I'm going to pull that up real quick. The Linux Tube. There we go. Yes. That's awesome. This is great. It just totally reminds me of that. All right. So also, why is Debian at 4 o'clock? I got to know. It's a mystery. I guess it will stay a mystery. Anyway, if you right click or if you click in the corner here, it's going to be the same. But at the same time, this is not like what we've seen in other window managers, including JWM, where we actually had to install a menu maker called XDG Menu Maker. And they have one for this, but this looks dynamic. So this might be okay. We'll have to take a look later, but at least we can get around in, selecting things like Genie or browser. Well, browser's right there, and there's a terminal right there. I hope it's not Xterm. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, well that's definitely not Xterm. That's Terminator, which is also installed. So that's a good step. Let me go ahead and maximize. While we have the terminal on the screen, let's move our configuration files over. So I'm going to go to copy -r user share IceWM, and we're going to put it in the user directory. Let's just do that, and then I'll rename it. Okay, so let's ls, and you'll see IceWM right here. So all I need really to do is move IceWM to .icewm. All right, and now, let's clear the screen and do that again. All right, well, it doesn't matter. We've got .icewm, so let's actually just go into that .icewm, and let's look at this. Okay, so first initial impression, keys, menu, preferences, interesting, toolbar. Okay. There's some similarities here with Fluxbox in that there is a keys and a menu. Now, themes, I guess, are built in, so let's go take a look real quick. Settings, themes. Okay. So it looks like the background also changed, so I'm thinking that regardless of the theme that you pick, that's the location of the background, either color or image. So let's just simply go back and change the theme back to default. I'm thinking that we'll probably find one a little bit better somewhere else rather than one of these built-ins. But if you want, take the time to look at some of these built-ins by all means. I'm thinking they're probably a decade or more old, so that doesn't mean it's bad. I'm just saying I probably want something that looks a little more modern. So rapid fire, there's some things I just don't like, and I'm going to explain that, but it's probably a me thing. So it's probably not the software, it's probably me. But if I open up this, which is Terminator, and I just want to drag it to the middle of the screen, it will go somewhere. I don't know what happens. I'm sure it's still running. It didn't close, but it is now off the screen, and I don't know how to retrieve it. Okay. Another thing is this list. I would like Thunar to be up there, maybe Genie as well, because it's hard for me to, I know where Genie is. I can go into IDE and find Genie, but I can't find Thunar for the, file tools. No, that's Ranger. Okay, so see, same thing. Yeah, I don't know. Programs? Nope. So anyway, I can't find Thunar. And then here's the other thing that just kind of drives me insane is, like, if I'm hovering over audio, I would like it to open, but I have to click and click and then click in order for it to work correctly. Okay. So there's that. Plus, I want to be able to use key bindings earlier in the video because I think I did that for I think it was Fluxbox. I'm not exactly sure, but I complained that I should have done it earlier. Maybe it was JWM. So anyway, I'd like to modify the menu, I think, first. So in order to do that, I'm going to go and click, click and click, and let's open Tilix. And now I'm going to CD into IceWM, and let's micro the menu. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so HexChat, which is not a program that is not installed, basically is a blank here. All right, so also it looks like the things that are in quotes is because there's two words, So let's go ahead and make some modifications here. But it looks as if you need to name things twice, and I'm not sure if that is a class issue. Like when you do something with xprop, it shows you the class, but the names are different. So, but regardless, I'm going to stick to what is working. So I'm going to just simply say remove that and say tilix and tilix. Okay, and while there's only one browser installed, there may be more at one point. So let's just say Firefox ESR and Firefox ESR. Let's rename this to Thunar. And since I'm not going to be using hex chat, Thunar. And there was one more, right? Genie. Let's say prog Genie, and save. Okay. I'm just going to keep going down and taking a look at things. Interesting. Menu system. Okay. Menu file toolbar folder toolbar. So if I look here, toolbar, and then what are these two items here, which is xterm and www, also are here. So there's probably that toolbar file which can be modified. So let's try that as well. Okay. So did I save this? Control S, Control Q, and LS, and let's look at toolbar. So micro toolbar, and okay, so it did say www and xterm here. Okay, so I'm just going to make this a tilix. Does it have to be named twice again? Yes, it does, apparently. Tilix. Okay, tilix. These things are kind of irrelevant, aren't they? But I'm going to I'm going to just leave them. Firefox ESR. Firefox ESR. And I'm just going to do basically the same things just to see if it comes up here. Prog and let's say Thunar, or let's do it this way. How about file manager, just to see if that, when you hover over it, it should read file manager. Okay. So this actually, let's just call this terminal, and then let's call this Thunar, and editor, and Genie, and what else did I say? There's one more, right? Well, let's just use image viewer. How about, oh, I needed, how about that? Image viewer and SXH, no, that's not it. QIMGV, sorry, QIMGV. There's anything that you could put in here, right? And save, and then quit. And let's go ahead and quit this as well. Now, I think all that we need to do, even though this came up quickly, this didn't change. So I'm thinking we probably need to just restart IceWM, and there you go. The new things, and then, yep, I just wanted to make sure when you hover over them, it shows that image viewer and www. So if I click on this, we're good. Yeah, it's probably not the best choice, but I'm just going to leave it for now. As I mentioned before, what I'd like to do is modify the keys file so that we have better control over our keybinds, and they're common to a lot of the other things that we've done in the past. So I'm going to open up IceWM in Genie and go to keys. Okay, let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. All right, so initially it looks like all of these, well, these two are about your web browser. So to open up terminal, we're going to change this to Tilix. And I'm thinking maybe you only have to name it once this time. So that would be good. And then let's go super plus return. Okay. Oop, there we go. So let's try to line this stuff up. And let's do this again. Oh, I don't want that. I said just this part here, and we're going to go super B. And we're going to go Firefox, ESR, and what else? Let's just go ahead and, oop, sorry. Let's say key super plus E, and let's do this Genie. And key, sorry, should be done quickly. Super plus F Thunar. And you know what? Let's throw something else in here. Let's go key super plus space. And let's do Rofi here, but I don't remember where I used Rofi in the past. So let me go back and let's open this up, because I think I did it in Fluxbox, but I can't verify that. So let me see if I did that. Right here. Exec. It has an exec command. So let's do that. I'm going to go all the way to the end, copy that, and let's make sure we close this because it's not the same, and say Control V, and let's save that. Now, let's see if we can get these changes active. So all we need to do is restart IceWM. And so if I hit super return now, Tilix comes up. If I hit super space, Rofi comes up. So this is, to me, a lot better already. What I want to do next is preferences, because what I'd like to be able to do is close applications with our super queue like we do just about everywhere else. So in order to do that, I'm going to look for, I think it's close, and I think it's case sensitive, but I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, key when close. And actually Alt F4 is a very common way to close a window. So I'm just going to uncomment this and say super plus Q. Oh, Q. There we go. Now that should work. There's one more thing that made me a little bit, it's this thing when you have to like click on individual things rather than hover over them. And I think that's a mouse preference. So let me control mouse menu. Let me just look for a mouse and see if that helps. Menu mouse tracking is off by default. So let's turn this on and see if we get the change. So that's two changes under preferences, one for closing a window, the other one for the mouse tracking. So let's save this and let's go and restart IceWM. Okay, now the first E thing is easy. Okay, look, as we're hovering, it's allowing us to open up things. So I'm assuming if I can super Q, that's what I'm looking for, guys. Now I definitely want to go back to that preferences file because I believe that there's a lot of power in changing some of this stuff. And we'll get to that in a minute, but I'm going to go over here. And this is a style that I want to just throw in there quickly because I'm thinking that it looks a lot more modern. This may not be everybody's cup of tea. I know that people are very on the fence about Nord. I like it. But I don't want to go hunting for maybe the best one, but this is a darn good one. So under Files, this IceWM Nord style 7Z I've downloaded, and I have put it in my downloads directory, and I unarchived it. So I've got this IceWM Nord style. I'm just going to copy this, okay, and we're going to go over to IceWM and themes, and we're going to paste that there. Okay, so now when I go over to themes, there's that Nord style. And it looks a lot more modern. I just think that the bar looks quite a bit better. So does the menu system. And if you go to an open workspace, it's actually changed the wallpaper as well. Now, I think we can all agree that we can live in this. Now, if you want some other functionality like a startup file where you have Dunst and PyCom, that's easily done as well. So I'm just going to simply open up a terminal and go into cd into .icewm. And there is no startup out of the box. So we're going to just have to create one, startup. Okay, and we're going to need a shebang bash. Okay, and we can easily, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat a little bit. Sorry guys, just a little cheat. All right, I'm going to go into Fluxbox and look at that startup really quickly and copy something. So startup, yeah, like right here. These. I'm going to copy all this, but I'm going to remove a few things too. So I'm going to copy this, and let's go ahead and let's go over here. Control V. Yep, there we go. And let me go back over here just because I don't want there to be any confusion that this is something outside of IceWM. This is. I'm going to go ahead and close everything actually. And let's go back over here. Now again, we're not using nitrogen, so that would be kind of pointless. If you want the nmapplet, I'm going to put it in there simply because I want to see something pop up in the tray, the sys tray, just to see if that works correctly. All right, so I'm going to say save and Q, and now ls. I want to make sure that it actually is executable. So chmod plus x startup, and we'll probably have to log out. So let's go ahead and close this. I think. Let me just restart. Yeah, we're gonna have to log out because there's very little chance of it working without logging out. Oh, you see there you go. There's the applet. Okay. And when I open up, there should be some, so I don't know, hopefully you guys can see this on YouTube, but there's definitely some transparency. In fact, I can make it even more transparent if that's helpful. Profiles, edit, color, and then change the transparency. See, there's no all transparent. So you get the idea, transparent. And in fact, Genie has some, I think it's 85% transparent. So if I go over to Genie, yeah, you can barely see it. It's in the PyCom configuration file. If you want it to be more transparent, then you would have to edit the PyCom file. Anyway, this looks great. Now, as I said before, I want to go back to the preferences file, and here's the reason why. I'm going to open up Genie, okay? And if you right-click, you clearly have a lot of functionality so you can tile left or top half or whatever, okay? Or you can center something, or you can move it to a different workspace, okay? And these are things that I would like to go ahead and modify. So there was one more thing that I thought was really cool. Tile vertically. You know I'm all about tiling things vertically because of how I use BSPWM. So I think I'd like to try that first, just to see. All right, so preferences. Here we go. So IceWM preferences, and I think the easiest way to find that is going to be tile vertically, Alt Shift F2. So let's look at Control Shift plus F2. Okay, so right there, key sys vertical tile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take that out, and my keybind for this is super plus equal. Okay, and let's actually, so horizontal, let's do that at the same time, just to see. Okay, so it would be super plus shift plus, maybe I have to actually, sorry, type out the word equal. Yeah, that makes more sense. Sorry, equal. Let's just see if that's right. Equal. All right, and let's save this, and let me restart. Okay, now if let me close this. So if I hit another thing, so now there are two applications on the same workspace, and if I hit super equal, ooh baby, there we go. Okay, so and if I hit super shift equal, it modifies that. Yeah, I'm digging that. So super equal puts things in vertical space, vertical tiling, and as you can see, super shift equal puts it back to horizontal. All right. So let me close this, and let's maximize that. Now, while I'm here, I'm looking at this. Give focus to the next window and raise it. Alt ESQ. So so there's only one thing open. So if I hit enter and then say Alt. Okay, so this would be like if I wanted to shift focus, obviously. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if Alt S escape is what I would use. So let's change this to so I would say super then plus shift plus right, and then super left. Just curious if that'll work. So I'm going to hit save, and then let's restart. Now we've got two things open. So if I hit super shift left and right, it does those things. So I like that. Okay, let's move on. I want to check about these. Can I add another workspace? So I think those are workspace names. So Control F, workspace name. Is it one word? Something like that. Here we go. Okay, and then so what they're doing is they're adding there's a space. So that sounds good to me. So if I want to okay, so if I do, let's say 5 and 6, let's save that, and let's restart. Oh, restart. Oh, look at that. Okay. Now again, it looks like you can rename these. So if you wanted to, like, say web, I don't know that you want to in this scenario. I mean, again, you could probably modify this, but let me do it one and just see what it looks like, I guess. Restart. Actually, let me go ahead and close this, and let's close this just to make it look. Oh no, I didn't do it. I thought it would. All right. Interesting. You know what? Well, maybe that's not that important. Maybe that's not that important. Okay. I'm just curious if oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just restart it and then we'll move on from there. Now, I want to be very careful about this because the obvious change that we need to make are these, where you want to send something to a different workspace. So Alt-Control-Shift-2, which is a lot to do. So it's in this section here, all right? And I don't want to do it necessarily one at a time, but I do see the benefit of this section. So I'm going to just highlight this section here because yeah, and you'll find out in a second why I'm doing this. So we're only going to work on these 6 here, okay, where we want it to go to that workspace or we want to send the window to that workspace. So and then I don't know that it will keep focus, but regardless, Alt Control, if we just search this, takes the active window to workspace. Yeah, okay, so if we just replace Alt plus CTRL for that section, you know, and in this selection, and replace it with super in the selection, we should be good. So let's try that. Don't do this unless you know what the heck you're doing, okay? So Super Shift 1, Super 2, Super Shift 2. Okay, this is all good. The only thing that's missing here is actually workspace 1, or go to workspace 1. Okay, so it's right here actually. And so we're going to say Super 1. Now again, these are commented, so we actually have to uncomment this. So I'm just doing them manually just so that so I don't make any mistakes. And 2 more. And save. Okay. And if I go over here to restart, okay, I'm curious if it actually changed the, yeah, Super Shift equal here. Okay, so move to Super 2. Okay, all that looks good to me. Did Super 1 get, yeah, Alt, no, Super Shift 1 is right. Okay. Oh, but I did comment it. That's why. All right, see? You make mistakes when you do stupid stuff like that. All right. And now I need to restart IceWM again. And so that should, yep, there we go. All right, so if I have Genie, I want to Super Shift 6. You notice that it automatically sent it. So let's go Super 1, so it takes us back to Super 2, Super 3. Let's open up a terminal, and let's send that over to Super 1. And it changes focus too, so it's following it to the new workspace. Super 2, let's open up Thunar, and let's move that to 5. Now this is great. This is exactly the way this particular window manager should work. I hope that you have enjoyed modifying this. Now, this is all dealer's choice as far as I'm concerned, because there's so many similarities between a lot of these window managers. And maybe it's me, guys. I have to kind of look at myself and say, I want certain functionality for each one of these. So I try to make them all kind of have the same functionality. And I don't know if that's intended by the actual developer of these window managers. But again, this sort of matches my workflow. So I apologize if this is kind of like repetitive. When it comes right down to it, I don't mean to be repetitive, but if I'm following the way I would set something up, this is what I would do. So regardless, I hope that you are still enjoying. I've gotten quite a bit of feedback saying, "Hey, I like these," and maybe it's not the most popular subject for this particular channel, but for me, it's an interesting exercise in trying and starting with something from scratch and seeing if I can get it to match my workflow. I said workflow a bunch of times in that in those last couple of minutes. So regardless, I hope you've enjoyed another window manager. IceWM is really good. I think that I would probably opt for another one if given an opportunity, if I had choices. But could I live in this? Yes. So anyway, I'll see you in the next one, and take care.